Hey guys, Brendan Tees from Hooper Basketball here. Today I'm joined by NBA prospect and NBL up-and-coming superstar Josh Giddey. Before we start asking him questions though, I'd like to remind you that on hooper.com.au/workshop, I've got a free workshop there for you that will help you instantly score more points. So if you go ahead, go check out that workshop. It'll give you the knowledge and the skills required to go to your games. If you implement what you learn from that workshop, you should be able to score more points instantly without putting in any extra work. Once again, that's at www.hooper.com.au/workshop. So Josh, thanks for joining us today.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Teasy.
No worries. So I've been talking to Josh and I said, this isn't going to be like a normal interview. I'm not going to say, all right, this is where you started, this is where you are now, what did you do along the way? This is going to be more giving tips and hints and kind of asking Josh about the obstacles that he's faced and how he's overcome them. Because as much as you guys out there would like to think that it's an easy path to become a professional basketballer, it's not. Everyone's got their own different little story, and Josh is no different. So to kick things off, why don't you just tell us a little bit about where you're from and when you started playing basketball?
Yeah, so I'm from Melbourne, right here where we are now. I'm in a little suburb called Yarraville, which is about 10 minutes out of the city, and played all my junior basketball for the Melbourne Tigers growing up. Started playing domestic basketball just locally for my primary school when I was 5 years old. So that's where I've started. But I've always had a ball in my hand since I was young because my dad and mum were heavily involved with the game.
Mm-hmm. So now let's talk about your parents. So obviously your dad's an NBL legend. We've been playing in the hub now for 3 weeks or whatever, and singlets up in the rafters. So tell us a little bit about what it was like being the son of an NBL great and how that kind of affected your career moving forward.
Yeah, no, it was cool because he was always my coach right from, as I said, 5 years old when I started playing till 17, 16 years old. So it was good to have someone like that because he always knew kind of what was right and wrong for me. And he had such a knowledge of the game because he'd played it for so many years and then coached it when he retired playing. So I think that to have a parent coaching you sometimes can be bad, can be good for the kid, depending on whether they like being coached hard or whether they want the parent to take it easy on it. But Dad always coached me hard, and it was good because he's pretty well known within the Melbourne Tigers basketball community. So to have him coach me right through juniors up until my kind of the senior teams in the junior comp was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Now you're 18 years old. You've got the skill, you've got the instincts, and you've got the size to, kind of make that next leap. Let's just talk about growing up in juniors. Were you always a big kid?
I wasn't. No, that's I was always really small. That's kind of why the point guard story behind it. Because when I was little, it's kind of the smallest, the tallest point guard to the center. And I was always the smallest kid, and I always ran the point guard spot. And then I grew, and I kept growing. I had a really big growth spurt when I was about 15, 16, and then I always stayed as a point guard, and that's kind of just where it come from. But I've always been a guard, always handled the ball, so that's where that comes from.
Yeah, nice. So now let's talk about you going through your junior career. I just learned today that you didn't always make state teams growing up, and I know another player, another great example of this is Chris Golding. I couldn't believe when I came through the ranks and I started being a development player on the Gold Coast that Chris also didn't make a lot of state teams growing up. So do you want to kind of tell us a little bit about how you dealt with not making state teams? Because obviously that's pretty heartbreaking as a kid, right? Yeah. That's your kind of goal, and that's when you hit big time, you think, when you're a junior kid. So tell us how you dealt with that and what you did to improve from that, I suppose.
Yeah, that's spot on. As a kid, when you're 14, 15 years old, you think under 16 state teams is the biggest thing in the world, and I did as well. But when I was bottom age, I got cut really early in the process, and top age, I came back. I was an emergency for the team, and I almost got the call that I was going to be up going with the team in Perth. But the next morning, the kid that was they were worried about being injured. They said he was fine, so I didn't get that call up. But at the time, it was heartbreaking. I was really sad, and for the next few days, I kind of just didn't do anything, sat in the house, kind of just beating myself up. But then the older you get, the more you start to realize that an under 16 state team means nothing in the long run. It's cool at the time, don't get me wrong. It's everyone's. If you're in the state team, you're the big dog. But as you get older, you start to realize that it means nothing for you in the future. And I kind of took that mentality going into the under 18s, and I didn't make the team as a bottom age. I was an emergency again, and then the next year I'm like, all right, I'm not letting this happen again. And I finally kind of put my foot down and said, all right, this is the year I'm going to make it. And I made it, and we won gold medal at the under-18 championship. So that was kind of my story through the state team ranks. But yeah, as I said, it is really devastating at the start because you want to be in those teams. But and as you get older, you start to realize that at the end of the day, it's not a big impact if you don't make it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to, I kind of track back through my junior career, and you kind of think about all the guys who were dominant at the time.
Yeah,
and now,
exactly.
They didn't make it past under 16s pretty much. You just fell off the face of the earth, some of them. So that's just a good lesson to learn, that it's not the be all and end all, because I've seen it here and there, and you got an NBA prospect right here. He's telling you the same thing. You don't always have to make those teams, but as long as you, I suppose, make those adjustments. Was there anything you did differently, or did it just motivate you to kind of work hard, get in the gym? Obviously, you had your parents there that kind of had their head switched on. So what kind of stuff did you do when you missed out on those state teams to eventually making it?
Yeah. So when I got cut from the bottom 16s, I put all my goals on a piece of paper of what I wanted to do next year, and my goal was to make the team, which I didn't do, but I kind of didn't let it distract me. And I spoke with some people that had kind of gone through the same pathway as me, because at this time I was in my car crying after I got cut as a 15-year-old, and I was like, oh, it's the end of the world. But they kind of just told me all the things, and I was actually reading messages from 3-4 years ago about what I needed to improve on, and that were the things I went back on just at my local club and kind of tried to work on when I played those games and did those practices. And it helped me a lot, and it worked. And I think if you just listen to the people around you and the people that have been through the same thing, it can really increase your chances of, making those types of teams that you want to.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess things just kind of steamrolled from there. So 17 years old, and you get to represent the Australian national team, the Boomers. What was that experience like? Was there a heap of nerves, or was it just, were you in awe of everybody, or did you just go in there and be like, I'm ready, let's do this thing? What was the kind of emotion that you had around that? Yeah,
it was pretty cool to, I got named in the squad, and I kind of thought, it's just a young kid, give him a chance. And I never thought I was going to make that team. And then I got a text from Will Weaver, telling me I'd made the team, and it was pretty surreal feeling. I didn't really know what to say on the phone. I was kind of just shook. And then I was in Chicago when I got that call, and I flew out the next morning to go to Queensland to meet the team. And then I didn't play the New Zealand game. I wasn't expected to get on or anything. And then the Hong Kong game, it was a bit of a blowout, and I got on at the end. And, it was lots of fun being out there with those kind of guys. And wearing the green and gold is the highest honor you can have as an Australian basketballer. So any chance you get to put on that Boomers jersey is really special.
Now, from there, you basically got the contract with the Sixers. What's it been like, the leap? Just explain to us the leap going from junior basketball into senior basketball and playing professionally. What's kind of the differences that you find between the two? Yeah,
I think the big thing for me was kind of going from being the big dog in under 18s, and you're the man at every team you've ever been on, to coming into a team and an organization where there's guys that have, like TZ, DJ, that have been playing for 10 plus years, that are the big dogs of the team. And it took me a little while to adjust to that and kind of get used to it. But once I did, I kind of found my feet, and it was good to go. But the other thing for me was kind of the physicality standpoint. It's a whole other level from juniors to seniors, where there's the grown men, they're playing physical, and everyone's strong, everyone's athletic, everyone's powerful. So it's a whole other kind of level of adjustment that has to be made from the junior to the senior level.
Yeah, so I guess from now, your goal would be to play in the NBA, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've played with a bunch of guys around the same age as you. Played against a bunch of guys around the same age as you, who are now gone on to be pretty solid NBA players, and you're right up there with a lot of them. I think your instinct's incredible. Obviously, your size is incredible, and your skill's incredible too. So, like any of them, there's stuff to work on, but I think the groundwork's truly there. If you put your mind to it, I think you can definitely reach that next level, man. And wishing you all the best. So,
appreciate it.
We'll wrap it up there. Josh, really appreciate your time. We've got a few people watching, so if anybody wants to jump in and ask any questions while we've got Josh here, feel free to do that. If you can't think of anything right now, though, feel free to put a message underneath the YouTube video after the fact, and I'll chase up Josh if there's any questions for him, or if you've got a question for me, I can easily answer that. So before I wrap it up, there's a question sitting there from Adam Doyle.
Love to answer this.
He said, why does Giddey never play Fortnite with Doyle?
No reason. I don't think Adam's on my level. So once he gets a bit better at the game, I'll get on with him.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. You don't want to be reviving him.
Yeah, exactly.
A few more just come in. Who's your roommates in the hub, and have you liked the hub lifestyle?
I love the hub. It's been fun being back home with friends and family. I'm actually rooming with Dan Dillon. So he's one of the vets on the team. So he's cool to room with. But no, I'm loving being back home, seeing all my friends and family. So I've enjoyed it.
Another one from Doyley.
Yeah. What else?
He said, "Who's the funniest teammate?"
Not Doyle. Everyone but him.
Everyone but him. It seems like I've got a bit of a troll on here. Hey Doyle, I'm gonna have to ban you from the chat.
Yeah.
Like I said, if anyone's got any questions after the fact, feel free to put it in. Just reminding you at www.hooper.com.au/workshop, you'll find that free workshop. It only goes for 22 minutes, and you'll instantly learn how to score more points in games. So go check it out. Let me know what you think. I'd be interested to get any feedback from you. Once again, Josh, really appreciate your time, and we wish you all the best in the future, big fella.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
We'll wrap it up there. Thanks, guys.